I just had a little allergy attack right before I pressed record on this camera, which is why my nose is red, so please forgive me. Hey everybody, this is Nancy Jones here. I am so excited that you have decided to visit my channel. Thank you. I appreciate you for tuning in. It is the holiday season, baby, and people are thinking about their future. People are considering their relationships. People are, thinking about if they want to be in a relationship with someone, if they want to get rid of someone. But today I want to talk to the single ladies. Hey, single ladies, all my single ladies, as Queen Bee would say. I want to address something and I want you to think about this seriously. If there is anyone, and just because I'm talking to the single ladies doesn't mean I don't care about the single men, the married ladies, or the married men. But this was just on my heart because I just had a conversation with a single lady and I keep hearing the same things. So I want you to take inventory of all of the men that you are dealing with currently. And I want you to think about how long each one of these men has been in your life. I want you to think about what value they actually add to your life. And if you really want to go into the next year with these people in your life. Doesn't mean they're bad, but think about where you're going, what kind of life you want to have, where you want to be. Do these gentlemen fit the bill? For you, I had a conversation with a very good friend of mine, and we went through a list. Okay, what is? I asked her, what are your top priorities? What are you looking for in a man? What's the most important? Let's number it from 1 down to 10. And this is a very fun and exciting activity. And I'm like, okay, now. Like, for instance, number 1 would be this person needs to be spiritual. They need to have a relationship with God. Number 2, they need to believe in marriage. Number 3, they need to, whatever, going down. And when you ask people this question, they always give you the pageant answer because they know what their priorities should be. But then when we went back through the list, I said, okay, now let's take these 4 guys that you are considering that are, reaching out to you. And let's see how they measure up with this list. And we did that. That was interesting. Then I said, okay, now honestly, out of these 4, which one are you the most attracted to? She told me which one she was most attracted to. That person she was most attracted to did not have the top 4 or 5 on her list of priorities. So then we had to realize the elephant in the room, acknowledge the elephant in the room, that you are attracted to what's the opposite of your priorities. So are you really being honest about what your priorities are when it comes to choosing a mate? We have to remember that relationships, healthy relationships, are more than just chemistry and butterflies in the stomach and physical attraction. That's something, it starts off that way and that's fun, but you cannot give someone your whole life just because they have beautiful eyes or they have abs or they have a deep voice that just makes you melt. You have to be willing to make decisions that are not based on things that are not so shallow. Think about the long term. What's going to matter after the first 6 months, after all of the nostalgia of the relationship has worn off, after you've gotten used to his eyes, you've gotten used to his voice, and now we're dealing with real life. Okay, I have a friend who met a guy, and after a couple of months, he said that he loved her, and he wanted to get married, but the thing is, they only went out on maybe 5 dates, and after he called her, maybe they talked on the phone maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Is that possible? Can a person really know you enough to love you after only talking to you a couple of times a week and only seeing you in person maybe 5 times, I don't know. That would have to be some really deep connection happening, and it would have to be felt on both ends. But if one person feels it and the other one doesn't, you might be dealing with somebody who just like to fall in love. So then you have to look at their history. I remember dating a guy in the past where I wanted to talk about our past and things that we've gone through, past relationships. He was not interested at all in talking about the past. That set up a red flag for me, because how can I know about you if you can't share anything about your past with me? That concerns me. What's in your past that you're trying to hide? Doesn't mean I'm going to judge you by your past, but in our past, we can see patterns. I was having a conversation with a young lady about the importance of paying attention to the past of the person that you're dating, because the past shows us patterns. The past shows us patterns, not necessarily what this person will do, but what this person is capable of. It doesn't mean that you're judging them. It doesn't mean that you're being unforgiving, but you need to know this person is capable of cheating. This person is capable of slapping somebody. This person is capable of going a year without employment. You need to know these kinds of things. Now, when we go for a job interview, they look for references. They do that because they understand your past matters. And anyone that's lying about their past or trying to hide their past, they know that there's a part of them that's very, very unappealing that they do not want other people to know about, so they need to conceal it. So if you're going for a job and these companies that you're trying to work for, if they have enough sense to look into your past, to check references, because they don't want to have to deal with any issues that will negatively impact their company, why aren't you? Why aren't we? Why aren't single women more diligent in doing their research about a man that's going to be taking up a lot of their time, kissing them in the mouth, and possibly in their bed? Why wouldn't you want to take the time to see what is this person capable of? Slow down and take your time. People always are going to present the best version of themselves when they first meet you. For fellas, the woman's going to put on makeup. She's going to have a body snatch. She's going to have the heels on. But you don't know what she looks like when she's sick, when she's got rollers in her hair, when she just wakes up. It takes time to get to know people in that way. So the conversation I was having with the young lady was, you're not a bad person for wanting to know about someone's past. It doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you wise. Because honestly, we all have vices. We all have things that we do that aren't so great. But there's some things I just would never do. And so looking into my past, you're going to see my tendencies. And you're going to also see there's some things that she just hasn't done. For instance, just because it's a popular topic, if you're dealing with a man that has been unfaithful in the past, in past relationships, okay, some men are chronically unfaithful sometimes, not just men, people. Some people are chronically unfaithful, like no matter what relationship they're in, they cheat. And then there are people who they've been faithful in some relationships, but maybe there was one that was dysfunctional and they ended up cheating. And that's something to consider and to talk about. But if you're dealing with someone who has a reputation for being a dog, okay? And they've cheated. As a matter of fact, they pursued you when they were in a relationship. You have to understand that it is very, very possible that when you get with this person, they're going to cheat on you. I really hate it when women have this superwoman delusion about themselves, where they feel like just because this person did this to every other woman he's been with does not mean he's going to do it to me. That's true. It doesn't mean he's going to do it, but it makes it highly probable that he will. Because patterns from the past, listen to this, the past produces patterns that are like premonition. Did I use the right word? It will tell you something that you need to know about this person. So I know we want to give people chances. I know that people change. But like I said to the young lady, okay, let's just say this man has a history of cheating and cheating on his wives, juggling women like, oranges, changing relationships like he changes socks. Then he comes to you and tells you he loves you, and you've only been talking to him for 3 months. There's some things to consider. It's like, I know you don't want to judge him from his past because nobody wants to be judged by their past. And she said people can change. Yes, people can change. But don't assume that the person has changed just because they've gotten older. Do not assume that the person has changed just because time has passed. Don't assume that the person has changed just because you really want them to be different than their past. That's all I'm saying. Don't assume. If you see a negative pattern in a certain area that this person has, and they're telling you that they're different, you're going to need them to show you that they're different, not just tell you, because you can make your mouth say anything. If I was a dog and I wanted a woman, I have sense enough to know that I'm going to have to hide my dogginess in order to get this woman, because no woman wants a dog. No woman in her right mind wants a dog. So I have to conceal that. I have to conceal the my past in order to get a chance with this woman. Okay, so you can't just take what a person says. If you've seen patterns of negative behavior, now you need to see patterns of the opposite. You need to see something in order to know that this person has changed. You cannot just believe it on blind faith. That is not wise. I also knew someone who was involved with a person who had a reputation. And I remember what my grandmother said, everybody ain't lying. Okay, so if everybody that knows you is saying the same thing about you, everybody, and I can't find one person to say anything good about you, and I just choose to believe that everybody is lying or they're just confused because you're really a good person because I'm interested in you and I want you to be a good person, I can't blame anybody when it all blows up in my face. You know why? Because everybody ain't lying. There are probably a few people. There are going to be a few people that lie on you and say negative things about you. I have people that have done that to me. But most of the people that you encounter that ask you about me are going to have something good to say. So if you are considering a person and most of the people that you talk to are saying he's a womanizer, he cheats, he's a dog, he can't be trusted. Most of the people are saying that. If you continue to pursue a relationship with that person, you're putting yourself in harm's way because numbers matter. Remember that the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? One of the selections when the contestant is trying to figure out an answer to the question, one option they have is to do an audience poll. And that's when you say, okay, we're going to ask the audience this question and see what percentage of the audience says the answer is A, what percentage says B, and what have you. I keep hearing something. Might be something on the roof of a tree branch or something. And then, so if the audience, 78% of the audience says that A is the answer, and you select A, most likely, you're going to get the right answer. So it's like, everybody's not lying. Please pay attention to the past and to patterns. This will help you to get, to make better decisions and to attract the right kind of man into your life. Not just attract the right kind of man, but get rid of the wrong kind of man. Because the wrong men, they take up space and take up time that other good men could be filling. So I hope that this video was inspiring to you in some way. I hope it helped you think about things a little bit differently. Be more careful with your time. Value your time. Value your energy, so that you can make better decisions about your relationships, not just in 2024, but right now. Some of us need to make some phone calls right now, or just block some people right now and say, I'm not moving forward, not one more day with this person in my life, because your life is precious. And there are so many great people out there that you haven't met yet because you're possibly, tangled up with someone who's a waste of time. I'm just saying, consider it. You're worth it. Have a good one. See you next time.